Now you are making a picture or something to your reader. Building interpretation upon interpretation means that this research 2012 found blah blah blah. Also another research in 2015 found the same results. This means blah blah blah. Okay? So whatever you want to say. Okay. Highlighting similarities and differences. Offering your reader a whole picture out of fragmented. You know fragmented? Means you have different pieces. Now you are putting these pieces together and make it very beautiful. And very coherent as well. Contributing to the dialogue. This is what we mean by dialogue. Dialogue in writing a literature review. It should be like a dialogue between you and whom? Audience, your readers, your supervisors, of course. So this is what we mean by dialogue in. Read this sample of synthesize. Okay, can we read together, please? Take 10 minutes, 5 minutes, as you want. This is a synthesis now. How do you know? Later I will ask you. Okay, read just. Am I bothering? As you finish, just tell me. Clear, right? What does it talk about? The use of what? Technologies, which is asynchronous, synchronous, right?
Yeah.
And in what? In writing, right? Okay. So how do you know this is a synthesis?
Because it takes into account
How is sentence?
results of such studies have shown.
Yeah, it talks about studies, not just one study. More than one. And you have here, see how many citations? Means that the researcher has already put those studies together, and because they found the similar patterns of interaction, which are evaluation, suggestion, clarification, blah blah blah. Okay. See then, such scaffolding is okay. What else have you found in the article?
Other studies.
Others, yeah, it's like grouping, right? So you are grouping this, and also these other studies have also added to this one, which are they found new patterns of interactions, which are called scaffolding, right? Like hints, advice, and verbal support. So okay, yet a limited research has focused on how students interact. What's that? The gap, yes. Usually when you talk about the gap, don't say there is no. To avoid this, sometimes it's embarrassing. Are you sure? They will tell you, are you sure there is no? How do you know? You say there is real research on this, or few studies have focused on this. Or you can say insufficient attention has been paid to blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I mean, make it very... So is that okay now what we mean by a synthesis? So you are trying to grouping, relate this study. So which is better? To present your readers, I mean your supervisor, when you write your thesis, one paragraph, or like together? Yes. Yeah, because this tell us even where is your study here. What's that? Sorry. Okay, gap, we arrived to the gap now. We were talking about gap. So gap in a literature review, as we said, remember this, switch off here. For your future, switch this off here. A literature review is not only a summary, but synthesis, highlighting gaps, contrasting, relating studies together. So, okay, what gap existing in previous studies? What has not been given considerable attention? What's it? Okay, what needs to be investigated? What has been rarely investigated in previous research? So this is what we mean by a gap in your previous research. Might be just one specific aspect, not necessarily to be big gap, maybe just like that one, you see? How learners interact together. That was the gap. So it may be simple one, but it's the starting point. Some studies are initiated when there is a gap, of course, because it needs to fill up that gap. So this is the starting point beside your problem statement, which is the issue. What is the current issue? Clear?
Yes.
Any question here?
No, doctor.
I see you today like wondering like something new or what? No, it's okay. Just be fine.
Doctor, actually next time can we have the slides before class?
Yes, I
Yes.
can. I will update the spectra, my spectra.
Mhm.
Then you will follow Dr. David in all things, and you follow my slides also because we will be teaching
Yeah.
1 week by 1 week. Okay. Sample. This is a sample of a gap. I mean, how to write about the gap. See, let's read. Read also, not only pictures. See, when you look at the first sentence, the above studies. What? What are no above studies there, right?
Mm.
Does it mean this maybe at the end of the section, right?
Mm.
The author has already reviewed, then he refers to them as above.
Mm.
Okay. What is the gap here?
Social space of learning.
Social space of learning. What about it? Has been disregarded by other researchers, not given much attention.
Mm.
So this is the gap. Yeah, you can see it from the second sentence, right?
Mm.
The first sentence have disregarded, yeah, the social space of. Even when you talk about the gap, also you have to acknowledge the other studies, not just say nothing. You see in the first part of the sentence, that kind of acknowledgement, right? Means that previous studies have given us valuable knowledge as well. Yet, but, okay, so here you start your gap, the exact gap. Then sometimes not, enough also to say previous research, to identify the gap, you have to say this is very important. You see the second sentence? Interaction in the social space indicates, because this is important, means indicates how learners create a friendly atmosphere, friendly atmosphere, okay, and develop a sense of community. Maybe here you bought one of the latest studies, so to make it very strong and very updated. Is that okay?
Yes.
Clear now? So this is okay. Yeah, we come to organizing now. How to organize my literature review. That's a big issue as well, will be. I'm not talking about the proposal now, I'm talking about your thesis later on. So organizing your literature review, yeah, how are you going to, when you read writing a literature review will involve, it's much time consuming and it involves much effort as well. I mean, you cannot just do it very at once. In general, thesis writing, for me, I believe that thesis writing is moving back and forward like this till even after the Viva and you are still writing and revising. Because you will get comments, then you will have to fix and write again, revise your thesis, add, maybe modify, maybe. So it's a lot of effort, okay. It involves reading and rereading, also writing and rewriting, extracting important and relevant points. I will tell you this. Suppose now I am reading an article in my topic, but not exactly to my research questions. Still in the same topic, okay? But I found something interesting about the problem statement, maybe 2 or 3 sentences. Then I take those 3 sentences, I have my own file, I may call this file as notes, for notes only. Then I bought and I say David 2014. Okay, because later I will be back to this note to support my problem statement or whatever I want, okay? Maybe the gap, maybe the methodology, maybe the theories, so whatever it is, okay? So I am trying to extract important and relevant points. Taking notes, usually I'm taking notes, this is notes, okay? Summarizing and paraphrasing. What is paraphrasing?
In your own words.
In your own words.
Yeah, to rewrite something using your own words. Why?
So you have to plagiarize.
Yeah, to avoid high similarity and plagiarism. Okay? You still admit this person, I mean the author, but you are not using the same language, the same idea, but your own words and language. So, okay, by paraphrasing, you are trying to convey or deliver the same message of this author, but using your own language. The emphasis on the idea itself means, okay, I found this article, oh, I like this idea, but I will try to rephrase it or paraphrase it in my own language. So you see the difference between quotation and paraphrasing? You know that one.
Yes.
When you put the quotation marks, also number, page, right? Page of number. So why sometimes do we need that? Why do we need to have that quotation sometimes in our thesis?
To give credit to the real author.
Sorry?
To give credit to the real author.
Both we are given credits, either to paraphrase or because I have to admit the authors in both cases. But why?
Their way of saying it is the best way.
Yes, persuasive.
You mean?
Their way of saying it is the best way to say
Yes,
it.
maybe, yeah. She says the best way it has been said, so if I may use my own words, I may not convey the same things, especially with what?
Definitions.
Very good, definitions, yes. Especially with definitions, I mean something which is very important, so you put it like it, the same, you take it the same, but you have to put number page of number where you took it. For example, if it's in page 2, you put 2 after that. So we will be talking about this later when I teach you also how to use endnotes. In one class, we will teach you how to use endnotes. Then you will try to fix this endnote in your laptop and use it according to your style.
Doctor, what kind of referencing styles do we use here at UM?
ABA.
ABA.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the difference between quotation and paraphrase. But make sure, hey, from the beginning paraphrase. Because if you don't paraphrase, sometimes you forget, you may use the same thing, but by mistake, I mean, and you haven't even, then the similarity will increase. Just quotations for definitions, something which are very important, and one line, maybe one sentence, 2 sentences at least, because this will increase the similarity as well. So usually you have to paraphrase. And paraphrasing is a kind of skill that you need to do and to acquire as well during your writing, especially when you write. I mean, it's not that you change each word when you paraphrase. No, sometimes you are playing with the language. You know, play with the language? Yeah, you are trying maybe to use still similar words or maybe some of the words that of the author, but the structure of it itself. Yes, the syntactic structure, because if you change each word means that you are going to kill the idea. You will change it totally, of course, and you have to compare the paraphrased one with the original one and see whether it's the same or different. Because this is important. You have to say sometimes if you distort the meaning or it's not good. So you have to keep that in your mind. So in brief, you see, when we do quotation, we want, as your friend said, to communicate the way, because it has been said the best. So I will use the same thing. This is in quotation. And when I paraphrase, I don't care about the language, but I need the idea itself of that author. I will give it my own dress. I mean the language. But the idea is still the same thing. So, okay. Can we compare this? Two. The first one is the original. How do you know it's the original? Yeah, the quotation marks, number of page. And here we have paraphrasing. Can we read both and say whether it's the same idea or not? Same idea, right? Yeah, also you see in both, the author has acknowledged other researchers, the same, but here just change a little bit the structure, some words, but still the same idea. It talks about the cognitive development, right? So that's it. This is the difference between when we want to compare other people's original ideas with ours. Yeah, literature review need to be well organized and structured as well. Not only written, it should be the way you structure the way you present your literature review to the reader should flow a logical manner or smooth, okay? It should be a coherent story, as if I was reading a story. Yeah, I move very smoothly from one section to another. I see that your voice is critical, it's cohesive, the ideas are linked and presented in a logical manner. Here you may need to structure your literature review based on the findings of previous studies. Like here we say, studies on challenges, based on my research questions of course, but here findings as well. So I will use as themes, means thematically, according to the findings. So I will be using headings and subheadings. And also, some use this one, chronologically. You know what is it?
Or in time.
In order, in terms of what? Time. Yes, I start with the old, then updated till the recent. It depends on the nature of your study. I cannot say, this is wrong, this is right. But usually in Qual and all these things, they use thematically organized according to the themes. Sometimes methodologically means according to the methodology. If my paper, for example, focuses on the methodologies, so I will organize them according to the methodologies. It depends on what you want to do. Is that clear?
Yes.
Sure. Any question here? So you are ready for the presentation today? You prepared how many slides? 3. Wow, great.
Doctor.
6 slides.
Because I didn't have time to revise it, but
It's okay, no
It doesn't
problem.
have to be very elaborated, right? Just point forms.
No, just I want even one slide. Yeah, title. Maybe
Research.
secret of your problem statement. Yeah, maybe 2 lines, 3 lines.
Research objectives.
Then objectives and questions. That's it. But I hope we will have more time because if we comment on each one, maybe we will need 1 hour or something, right? Okay, no problem. Then also because the video we are doing research, me and Dr. David, so I will give the video to him to comment on my teaching and all this. I mean, we are doing this together. So he will see the slides and he will comment later on your slides. No problem here, as kind of feedback.
Do we need to upload the slides, Doctor?
Sorry.
Do we need to upload the slides to Spectrum? Do we need to?
You need to upload the slides here.
Do we need to upload the slides to Spectrum?
On Spectrum.
No need. Just upload here in the laptop to present. Just.
Oh.
Is there a flash drive?
You want to put it in my flash or?
Yeah, flash drive.
Are you sure you want to use your own flash drive? Dr. Zaida the other day said that computers all got virus in.
Yeah, viruses. I'm afraid about viruses, but you can use your own flash and put here. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is wait. Before we start, so this is for today lecture. Yeah, it's important to have a literature review. This literature review should be analytical and should be readable, should be relevant. Remember this, relevant, very important, okay?
Yes, Doctor.
And also should be reliable, I mean the sources that you are summarizing. And we talked how to divide your chapter 2 into 6 sections. Okay, starting with the theoretical framework, and there may be variations. It depends on your supervisor on what you want to do. So sometimes it may differ from one discipline to another. Yet in all disciplines we have literature review. Clear, right?
Yes, Doctor.
Anything you want to ask here for today?
No, Doctor.
Sure. Let's say you start your literature review next week. Sure. That's great.
We can try.
Okay, now can you upload and start one by one? And I will be silent there. Just listen to me, please. Everyone, how much time will take? 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay, if we take, for example, less than 10 minutes, so that we can take 1 hour, right?
Yes.
Okay, after you present, others may comment as well. Okay? Please comment on your friend, don't worry. You may give suggestion, you may say whether the question and the objectives are consistent, aligned together, okay? All these things. So let's start with you here from here. Can you come and upload your slide here, please?
There's a volunteer to go first.
The first one should be volunteer. Who is going to volunteer? Very good. Come. Okay, you got your flash. So I will be sitting here. Please, after she presents, you may comment on her.
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, don't feel shy. Just comment and she will accept your comment as well. And make your presentation clear also to Dr. David later to comment.
Very good morning to Dr. David and the members of the Dr. David, Dr. Murad.
No problem, yes. Because you will be watching there.
For the presentation, I have provided two topics because I was quite fickle-minded in choosing one. So as for the first one, I have chosen to do on discourse analysis. The title is Beauty Product Advertisements by Malaysian YouTubers, a critical discourse analysis.
Wow.
So basically, the problem statement for this particular title is because there is insufficient attention on this particular matter because one thing for sure, we often see the CDA used for advertisement, but not much in beauty products in YouTube, particularly for Malaysian YouTuber. So as for the research question, I would like to know what are the linguistic features used in beauty product advertisement by makeup gurus on YouTube. And the second one, what are the discursive techniques or the coherence implied in beauty product advertisements to the viewers? So I would like to use the framework from Fairclough CDA framework.
Okay.
Okay, as for
Wait. The objectives are consistent, right?
Yeah.
With the to determine. Okay.
okay.
You mean here the objectives, not background, right?
The accessories.
No problems. Okay. That's great.
As
Go
for-
ahead.
As for the second one, this is English for specific purposes. I have presented this before in the
This is another topic, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The reason I have two topics, I know this topic better than the first one, but then again, this topic is very heavy for me because I need to find
Yeah, I saw you last time. I wanted to say whether you are very ambitious about it, especially for masters. Okay.
I need to know is it pre-group? The pre-test, post-test. and
Post-test,
then
yeah.
I need to do pilot test some more, so there's a lot of people that I need to do the teaching to. So I think that is time consuming and I don't have a lot of resources. That's why I opt for the first one. But if you think this is better, I try lah.
Okay.
So the research question is, I'm
What
sorry
are
about-
English? Okay.
I'm
Read.
sorry about the research background again. So the research questions for this particular research is what are the English language needs for the students? What are the components required to design the materials for the learners? And the last one, is there any change in terms of the achievement scores after the implementation of the modules? The
Great.
framework, I have two framework here. The first one is a multidisciplinary approach presented by Evans and St. John. The second one is a material design model by Hutchison and Waters. So basically, I combine both because of the chronological factor. This is the second one, and just now is the first one.
So may I ask you here,
Okay.
how are you going to achieve the second research question?
Okay.
What are the components required to design the materials?
As for the second question, I refer to the second model, which is a material design model. The second
No, I mean, how are you going to, what data are you going to collect and analyze?
Oh, so basically,
later on?
I would do not interview, questionnaire.
Questionnaire,
ask
you
them
mean.
what are-
Questionnaire to whom?
to the students.
To the
what
students.
What are their needs, their lacks, and their wants.
So what about the first question? The same, still the same, right?
Yeah, questionnaire as well.
Okay. Why don't you combine both together?
Okay.
Or do you see that different? I mean, the components were required will not be part of the needs?
I don't think so. Components required. Yeah, it can be. It can
Part of the needs, right? Okay, that's good. And for the last question, number 3, is there any change in terms of achievement scores? Here you are going to use what?
Pre-test and post-test.
Yes, good. So you are trying to compare before and after. That's good. Thank you. Any question, please? You want to ask your friend any question? Sure. Why are you smiling? You want to ask?
Very good, very good.
Very good. Thank you. Thanks. So let's see, Dr. David, what will he say about your two topics, and you will decide later.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Who's the second? Okay, from here, the second, right? You want to go?
Maybe I should go next.
You want to go? Yeah, anyone who is ready, no problems. Okay, go. Good, thank you. So I will be asking you also to present your literature review soon. Yeah, this is not, it has nothing with the marks, don't worry. Yeah, but just at least to see whether you are doing well or...
just really a very rough idea right now. There's
Okay.
not a lot of details to it as of right now, but so the title is a comparison of standard. This is basically a more fleshed out topic than what I initially presented, I think about 2 weeks back. So a comparison of the standard lexical grammatical competence between students who have taken the O-level first language English examination and the Malaysian Certificate of Education English language, the 1119 exam. About lexical grammatical competence, it's red because I am still trying to figure out fully what it means. This is an idea from Dr. David, but I sort of understand it, but I'm not too sure how well I understand it. That's why it's in red. That one might change as we move forward. But basically, what I want to find out is what are the differences between students, the English language competence in a certain type of, within a certain boundary, between the students who have taken O-level English and SPM English. So the problem statement as written there is increasingly more. Why is this important is because more and more so universities, especially in places like Hong Kong, in UK, they do not require things like IELTS anymore. IELTS is not required to enter into universities in those countries. In fact, they only look at either the O-level first language English or the Malaysian Certificate of Education English language 1119. So those are sort of the standardized testing now that they're looking at. So I feel this is important because if these two tests do not prepare the students well for studying in English language, which places like Hong Kong and UK does, then they will be finding themselves lacking when they do go on to university. So this is why I think this particular study is important. I hope to, as listed here, hope to contribute to research on the subject. Right now, I have only done a little bit of reading only, but I've only come across 2 articles that are related to this topic. Not a lot of research has been done on this topic from my initial readings. More may have been done, but I'm not too sure about that yet.
Yes,
but so
you
far,
haven't said
not
so
so
far.
much.
Okay.
So I hope to contribute to improvement. So another objective, hopefully, would be after this is to, if I have determined there's a difference and one is better than the other, maybe also suggest improvements for the one that is a bit on the lacking side.
Great.
So this is just a summary of what I said earlier. So research objective is to explore differences between these 2 papers, between the students who have taken these 2 papers, and to determine the differences in the syllabus. So I've been looking at the syllabus as well. The Malaysian education one, the syllabus is not very accessible. I couldn't really find it online, so I might have to go and purchase a textbook to have a look at it as well. But the IGCSE, the first O-level English, that one is available online. So
That's
I've
great.
looked at it as well. I'll probably do a comparison. One of the papers I read has already done a comparison there, so I might actually use that as part of my literature review in that sense. Research questions. So what are the differences between these 2 the syllabus between these 2 papers, and the differences between of this particular topic or whatever comes up in the end between the students who have taken these 2 different papers. So that's what I have so far. Questions?
Questions?
I have a question. How do you sample students?
Okay, so I work in a college. So the initial idea was to use because I work in a college that offers the A-levels. So the initial idea was to take the A-level English literature exam results of a particular year, because definitely there will be students who have done the Malaysian Certificate of Education, and there will be students who have done O-levels before coming to do A-levels. So we have students from 2 different groups coming to do A-levels, so I thought I would use the English literature exam results as sort of data in that sense to compare the competency between these 2 different students. That was one. I may also consider, if I ever am able to do so, maybe take IELTS results, but as stated earlier, IELTS is not exactly a requirement for universities anymore, so that's sort of somewhere here or there. Or another consideration may be to use, to conduct sort of, not really a questionnaire, but sort of a test.
A test.
And use tests from previous studies, and then give that to select the students. But that one is still, I'm still thinking about that. The easiest, of course, would be to just use the English literature results, because I have that readily available to me.
Any question, please? You want to ask? Ask, please. Why not?
Or don't ask.
Ask. You should ask questions, yes. I'm sure you have questions. Here?
How are you going to analyze again the syllabus?
How are you going to analyze the syllabus?
So I have come across a paper. It's called.
Is it qual or
Investigation of Students' Grammatical Ability in an International University Branch Campus by Mike Groves. This guy wrote from the University of Nottingham, Malaysia campus. So he actually does not exactly an analysis, but he does do a short comparison there between
This one.
first language English and the SPM English as well. So I thought I would use that as a sort of a starting point from there.
Starting, yeah.
And then hopefully I'll be able to attain the Malaysian Civil Education English syllabus. That one's a bit hard to come by. It's not available online, but first language English syllabus for O levels is available online.
That's great. Okay, can you back to your title? What do you think of the title?
Yes,
Too long.
I'm
Yes,
still
yes.
working on that.
Yeah, you can make it shorter, yes.
Yeah, but Dr.
Because
David-
no, I will tell you, anyone please, the title shouldn't be like statement. Yeah, here when you look at it, it's like a statement, right?
I
no
was
problem.
actually going to use abbreviations, but Dr. David said don't use abbreviations.
But very good research.
Yeah.
Can you go again to the second slide? I think the research questions should be reordered in a way that they suit the objectives, right? Means number one, you see number one, what are the difference?
Yeah.
Should be the second, because you have according to the objectives.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great study, thanks. Okay, next please. You have 6 slides, right?
I don't have the Google account.
So you may use the flash.
I email you. Could you please check your mailbox?
My email.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, but I'm not opening here the email, I think.
So I can't show you. Oh my gosh. I'm not ready.
I'm a counselor, but I did teach but I work with that in itself makes it easy to access data already. I mean, I need to ask from the CEO and all that, but at least I know that. But, yeah.
That's why I can see this too.
This is the
Yeah.
only email.
I have my play and my brother and I cannot find around 60 people to participate.
So, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to work in the college, so might as well just use whatever resources I have. Because honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, maybe in the end, when we finally redo our research project at the end of our program here, the topic may change, everything may change, but I mean, this works for now, because honestly, I don't know what I'm doing sometimes.
Like I really like to continue what I did, but then again,
Because what I do is that I work with, I do university placement. So I basically place students in university. So like those university data stuff that I actually know those about. That one's my job, So and students do come and see me. So I guess I do have a ready.
Why doesn't it appear here? Oliver. Hello. Sorry. No, it's okay.
You might want to scan your thumb drives when you get home using your thumb drives. Dr. Zaida, the other mentioned that the computers have full viruses and stuff.
Yeah, that's why I'm sending mail and using the mail better.
Doctor, your email cannot.
Why?
Your email cannot fully typed up yet, is it?
Which one?
Is it
.my.
Oh, what's that?
um.edu.my?
my gosh.
Edu.
Edu.
Yeah, yes.
It's
Sorry.
for some students, right?
I think for student stuff and
So those these are also. So all of you haven't gone and try and collect your student card yet, right?
No.
staying here? Okay, then we can ask you to check. Right?
Yes, anytime. I can just walk there.
Oh, I parked it.
This
yesterday.
one, right?
Second
Oh,
one.
you park. Oh, in the
No, no,
car.
the second
Yeah.
one.
The second one, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Oh, this one.
I drive around circle so I look for
Okay.
my parking lot park there.
You come now and present.
Wow.
7 slides.
Sorry.
It's okay, it's okay.
I'm so sorry because originally.
No worry.
Because originally I prepared six slides, excluding the starting page, and I checked the information from WhatsApp yesterday, and we are supposed to prepare only 2 slides to introduce our title. So I'm so embarrassed. May I just skip the first 3 pages and just get down to the point, because the first 3 pages is all about the.
Just the problem, as I told you, the title problem, objectives and questions.
Yeah, it's about the background information, why I changed my topic. As I remember last class, in your class, you asked each one of us to stand here and to share
to
our
talk, yes.
the rough ideas about research topic. And I remember because I offered 3 choices about my research topic. So, but finally I decided a new one. So the first 3 pages is just like explain why I changed the topic. Sorry. Okay, I still want to explain because basically the previous choices of my research topic, some of them are very general, and some of them I found, because after reading some papers, I found there are many existing research papers related to this topic, so I changed. And recently, I saw an official report.
Right?
Oh, these are the previous choices.
Oh, okay.
I will discuss this after the presentation with doctor if
Okay,
I
okay.
can still continue with this topic.
Okay.
And recently I saw an official report announced by British Council. It's all about the results about IELTS test. And so this research topic just came to my mind. I want to focus on the comparison of the different approaches to study IELTS vocabulary and writing and oral speaking. You can see this. I just put some of the data here.
The reports, yeah.
Yeah, the first one. This report shows the countries the students from and the overall scores, and there are dramatic differences between the scores from Malaysia of the students from Malaysia and students from China. You can see from this table, students from China, they performed very well. Yes, this is ranking the number 3 in the world compared with other students from other countries. So I'm so surprised about these results. So I'm interested in the approaches they used to learn the IELTS. So that's why I changed my topic. So yes, so that's my research topic is focusing on the comparing the IELTS performances of college students in China and Malaysia, and which part of the exam they are better at respectively and why. So my research titles are formulated in 2 versions. And as Dr. Murad mentioned, the title can't be so long. And I remember Dr. David mentioned in last class, 16 words, yes, are the best choice.
Yeah, 16 words.
So I think maybe after this presentation, I need to revise my title.
So the differences of
Yeah,
approaches.
but I still have question about the second one. Can I formulate a research topic in this form?
You mean the second one?
Yes, the second one.
Dramatically different IELTS. What do you think of it?
Is it cannot use the University of Malaya in the title?
In the title, okay? You can take note, don't worry. Okay, what do you think of the second one, which is start dramatically different?
Difference.
What do you think of it?
Too long.
Of course, too long, right?
Just difference would do it.
And what approach?
Okay, see, number one, maybe I will agree with you. Okay, differences of approaches. You can say in IELTS what? Because you are focusing on oral or you mean the whole IELTS, right? Vocabulary, written test, or
Uh,
or
I
just focusing on the.
I just choose 3 parts of exam: the vocabulary and oral.
Okay, you can
English,
say
the writing.
maybe comparison, as you said.
Comparison?
Yes, between IELTS performances in Malaysia and China. Do you agree with that? Yeah, that's it. No need to mention the approach. The approach will be your questions itself. I mean, whether not the questions. Even whether maybe if you want to find best on the findings, then you will see whether it's different approaches on the or the same or. So your study will be comparison.
Comparison of approaches.
No. Just of IELTS. IELTS. You want to say approaches?
Yes, because my focus is approaches.
Okay, IELTS approaches in Malaysia and China.
Chinese students.
Yeah. Or Malaysian and Chinese students. Okay, then
I just want to implement what we learn in class. The research topic I choose is reliable. I just conclude some criteria to examine it. And the first one, why should readers care? Because of the table showed here, it's a stimulant. It's the motivation why I choose this topic. And secondly, after choosing this topic, I searched the internet and I find there are rare related studies, exhaustive studies. So I think I can find something new. I can make contribution to this topic. And the third one, I think, is also the motivation. After comparison of the approaches used by students from different countries, and I can make contribution to the syllabus designs. I can help with, maybe, I can help some teachers of educational organizations to make a better course design for students to achieve their goals. So, yes. Motivation mentioned here. Okay.
yeah, the problem is what's the
Yes,
problem?
my problem statement is presenting a paragraph. The first and second sentences is like a background information.
Yeah, your problem is that means weak performance of Chinese students, right?
Yes.
That's a good problem, right?
Yeah.
Okay, who said this?
The data.
The report.
Yeah. The
Why
report.
don't you put a report here?
Ah.
You have to put. Even if it's a report, you may do it here as well. When you support.
According to the report.
No, for now it's okay because we are just trying to see whether you are working or. But later when you write the proposal itself, you have to put citations.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
So.
What about your questions?
Okay, my research questions are followed like this.
What are the approaches used?
By Chinese students and Malaysian students in UM.
In UM. Okay. No need to say in UM. Just between Malaysian and, as you said, Malaysian and later on in the methodology, you may say, I choose one university in Malaysia which is UM. Then no need to mention here.
Okay.
So what are the approaches used by, you delete that, okay, by Chinese. Okay, I want to ask you here, how are you going to investigate these approaches? What data?
I think through some interviews and questionnaires to
Ah,
figure out what exact approaches they use.
What do you mean by approach here?
Learning methods?
Sorry?
Learning methods.
Learning approach you mean?
Yes.
Like strategies, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to define what you mean by it. In the introduction, not here, I mean. Just for the draft,
Make some misunderstanding, you mean?
No, any reader now, when he says approach, what do you mean by approach, right? I know, she means strategies, she means, okay, how they learn, how they prepare for IELTS, like that, right? But any reader will say, what about, it's okay, you just define it later.
Okay.
Okay, what are then? Second one?
What are supposed to be a proper and effective learning method, like strategies, learning
What
strategies?
are supposed to be? What do you think of this research question?
I believe that because I've read about this before. One of my friends back then, she did like that, and she got horrible.
Really? She got horrible
evaluation.
comments, huh?
No, evaluations.
Evaluation
The
after the
lecture.
Viva, you mean?
Yes, one question she couldn't answer was, everyone has different learning strategies. So who are you to define the best one?
Yes. You see?
The comparison
Yes.
between